Harry became a puppet on strings after being the public's favorite. These 10 indicators suggest that Meghan may be abusing Prince Harry in a narcissistic manner. We know everything we need to know about Meghan's narcissistic behavior toward Harry, so just wait till number 6. Isolation is a major indicator of narcissistic abuse, and Harry is emblazoned with this. From being one of the closest royals, loved and cherished by his brother, and frequently spotted at family events appearing truly joyful, he abruptly stopped talking to anyone after getting married. Whether it was with his father, sibling, or even long-standing friends, Meghan made sure he shattered all those bonds. She even made sure that many of his former acquaintances were excluded from their royal wedding invitations. Narcissists act in precisely this manner. To be with this woman, they take away all of your support network, leaving you to rely solely on them, your extended family, your country, and all of his friends. He'll desire to return home. Okay, a daring forecast for the coming year. Let's not forget that Prince Harry used to be the gregarious royal, the carefree person who was always joking, happy, and willing to help others. People used to admire the spark in him, but now he appears tense, exhausted, and on edge all the time. Every time we see him, he seems to be treading extremely carefully. A significant change of this kind doesn't just happen suddenly. It occurs when a person is emotionally controlled by their spouse. A toxic relationship causes your spark to gradually wane, and we've witnessed Harry go through precisely that. Claps. Consider Harry's nonverbal cues in interviews. When Meghan is present, he sits rigidly, avoids making too much eye contact, and never appears at ease. Sometimes he even glances at her as if waiting for her approval before he speaks. There is a way to approach things, in my opinion. But for us, this union and the details surrounding her race, that is just traditional walking on eggshells conduct. Because one incorrect remark could wreak pandemonium behind closed doors, narcissistic partners teach their victims to question everything they say. This one is startling. Harry has consistently cherished his family. Everyone was aware of it. I adore my dad. My brother is someone I adore. I cherish my family. I always will. I've never intended to damage them in any way, whether by this book or anything else I have done. However, he now publicly attacks them in interviews and in his memoir, Spare, where he regularly brings up the relationship between, some family members and the tabloid media. Some members have made the decision to sleep with the devil, right? To recover in order to restore their reputation. Yes, a drastic change like that doesn't happen by accident. It's a sign of narcissistic influence. Abusers are skilled at changing your past and persuading you that the people who genuinely care about you are on your side. This one doesn't even require words. Take a peek at Harry's most recent pictures. The spark is gone from his eyes. They appear worn out, ponderous, and nearly dead. Because the emotional roller coaster never ends, victims of narcissistic abuse may seem exhausted. They are always engaged in invisible conflicts, and Harry's face bears the scars of this. The prince of the people's joyful smile has turned into a lifeless gaze. His formerly assured stance now appears slouched, cautious, and uncomfortable. The guy who once personified liberty and defiance appears to be bound by manipulation rather than obligation. The worst aspect, maybe, is that Harry cannot see it, but everyone else can. Meghan controls the conversation during interviews, while Harry, who occasionally ought to take the lead, sits silently and looks down or nods. When he does speak, it's halting, brief, and frequently sounds prepared. I've finished there, and now, as you mentioned, it's time to work as a team with you. It seems as though he is afraid of offending her and doesn't trust himself to say the correct thing. That's a big indication that someone has lost their voice, which is a blatant evidence of narcissistic abuse. The change is obvious. This used to be the fearless royal who served in battle zones, disobeyed palace regulations, and voiced his opinions without holding back. He now appears to be a man who is being cautious and blending in with the background, as each thing he says feels controlled. He seems to have lost the humor, the passion, and even the spark that made him so relatable to the general public. He almost seems to be looking for her silent approval as he looks at her before responding. That isn't a partnership. Conditioning is what that is. Additionally, it gradually undermines a person's self-esteem to the point where they are merely acting out the part that has been written for them rather than taking charge of their own story. Possibly the most agonizing of them is this one. Harry was previously regarded as the prince of the people, loved for his charisma, relatability, and genuineness. He now appears to be nothing more than Meghan's shadow, though. That's exactly what narcissistic abuse does. It obliterates your uniqueness until the abuser becomes the center of your entire identity. Harry doesn't look like himself anymore. And of all the changes, that is the most depressing. Harry used to live his entire life in the UK. He was grounded by his friends, family, military ties, and customs. He's now on the other side of the world, far away from the individuals who could reason with him. I was in California. What is his role in America? What does he do there during the day? What else besides the little show in which he feeds his chickens? Well, it's Meghan, you know. All of it is Meghan on TV. Meghan is preparing jam and cooking. Harry doesn't seem to be doing much over there, really. Narcissists behave in precisely this manner. Isolation makes their victims easier to manipulate. Therefore, they flourish when their victims are alone. The fact that Meghan and Meghan alone are now the center of Harry's whole universe is no accident. A glaring indication of abuse is that the victims frequently shield their abuser. Even when it comes to his own family, Harry always stands up for Meghan. However, Meghan rarely, if ever, repays the favor by standing up for Harry in public. Apparently, Harry was upset with us because of some of the nasty things that were said about Meghan during the engagement, and he was right to be upset about that. Well, I should kind of bring them up now, because some of them were also quite unjust. Because of that, he was upset, and I felt like we were punished. Additionally, this dynamic is typical of emotionally abusive partnerships. Because of training or fear, the victim frequently protects the abuser. Harry also altered his previous behavior. He started acting harshly and rudely toward everyone save Meghan. According to his employees, Harry stopped talking to them as much as he used to and became antagonistic toward them when he married Meghan. It seemed a little strange in comparison to the Harry I knew from earlier travels, but I don't expect anyone to sympathize. It was quite antagonistic, and of course no off-the-record conversations. Harry has acknowledged that he attends treatment, but why he needs it is still unknown. He is suffering severe emotional issues, as evidenced by the fact that he currently has several emotional support dogs. Prince Harry has once again opened up about his anguish of being a royal. The Duke of Sussex sat down with a therapist who provided his own diagnosis, and his most recent open admissions were streamed live online. Analysts speculate that his loneliness may be exacerbating his PTSD, anxiety, or depression. Harry has always suffered from the loss of his mother, but it wasn't until after he got married that he displayed this degree of vulnerability. Manipulation and prolonged seclusion can worsen mental health difficulties, occasionally even resulting in suicidal thoughts or psychosis. And regrettably, Harry has demonstrated this through his actions. That's it! 10 indications that Prince Harry may be experiencing narcissistic abuse at the hands of his spouse. Which of these indicators caught you off guard the most? Or have you noticed one that we might have overlooked? Tell us in the comment section. Additionally, remember to subscribe, like, and share. See you at the next